welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. It's been 2 weeks and I missed you. Recap from our last session. Session 1, get me to the pike on time. So the 4 of you made your way to the Guardianship Township with only minor incident at the gates with involving snow and an incredibly fed up guard. You were sent to what was called the Novice Hut, which seems to be embedded in the heart of a tavern in this guardianship called the Wild Pike. There you were instructed by the captain of the Novice. Her name is Nora Isalin. You were instructed as to what you were there for and given your first assignment, which was to get back to the Great Hall where you met by sunset. In this interim time, you all had various things you wanted to do. Snow wanted to speak to Nora, which he did get the opportunity to do. Beau was not allowed to eavesdrop, thanks to Ste'yn. Instead, he had plans to sneak out and maybe do a little bit of exploring. You were told to stay in the Peace District, but Beau thought, hey, there's other places we can go, and Ste'yn once again denied him. Wasn't going to happen. Viola, on her way in, noted a particularly talented fighter to whom she wanted to speak afterwards, but only found his sparring partner, insisting that she instead spar with him to show her prowess. He thought it better that he show her someone else he could fight before leaving her and not returning with himself or anyone, ghosting the poor girl for half an hour. To make up for that, Snow decided that he would in fact spar with her. Rather than a full sparring match against the Amazon, he made a fantastic display of magic to make it quite the affair, and you guys got a little bit of attention from it as well. And once again, Beau was denied from gambling on said matter. And Ste'yn, who is ever watchful and ever quiet, was made note of some of the acolytes who were in the city or in the township, including one that left her with a strange kind of cold sensation, which she kept to herself as she does. A few hours pass, you guys return to the Great Hall, and only about a quarter of the group that you were with when you first arrived made it back before the doors were shut. There was some commotion as people tried to get in, but the guards would not let them through. And then you were given your next assignment. In groups of 9, you were brought down the small hall outside the Great Hall and into one of the smaller meeting rooms where there were 9 chairs set up. You were told to take a seat. And as soon as you sat, these enchanted vines seemed to appear out of nowhere and began wrapping themselves around your bodies. Your instructions were simple after that point. You were told, when you stand, you may leave. And that is where we left off last session. So,
do we have initiative order for this? Are we treating this like kind of like combat?
We will.
Okay.
We are going to do that. But first, I do want to give you a little bit more description of the room that you're in. So in this kind of smaller chamber, you can see that the tables have been pushed off to the side as if it were made to fit for this assignment, this challenge, this test, whatever it is. There are 9 chairs that are in the middle of the room. All of them are essentially facing away from each other. If you have a door on either side, including the door that you entered, the 3 chairs that are closest to the door that you entered are facing that door. So let's call those, what do I call them? A1, A2, and A3 are facing that front wall. B1 is facing the side wall. B3 is facing the other side wall. B2 is actually facing the opposite wall from where you entered, where there is another door. And then C1, C2, C3, you can kind of imagine the tic-tac-toe board, are facing that opposite wall. So I think we briefly spoke outside of the game as to where you guys might be sitting, but you're welcome to share now where you would have chosen to sit.
Well, I remember Catherine said that she would be in the middle.
Yes, Ste'yn is in
Mhm.
B2, where she can see the most and be seen by the least.
And I said I would be facing Nora, but I wasn't really. Because I think
Okay.
that's what Snow said he was doing, but I don't know if we decided if we were sitting next to each other.
I think you guys would have wound up, based on how you described it, I think you guys would have wound up sitting next to each other with Snow. If he wants to be directly in front of Nora, he would be in probably A3, and then I imagine Beau would be A2.
Okay, so I'm in like the middle of the
Perfect.
A's. Okay.
Yeah, I want to be in a corner and I want to face Nora.
Where do you think Viola would be?
Probably B3 to give us like a little 4 square, so we're kind of grouped together.
As close to Ste'yn.
Oh, so we're like what is it called? Postage stamp if this was bingo. A postage stamp in the corner.
Perfect.
Okay. And then we just have
All right.
randoms next to us.
Yes, so you've got, so Snow was in A3. Snow's over here. Beau is over here. Oh, I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that 4 square going. I see it. Viola and Ste'yn. Excellent. You in the room with you, as part of your little part of this sort of party. So you see this human female. You can't miss her for a second. You probably noted her on your way in. She is dressed, she has a fair complexion. She has long hair that is pink beneath a large pink floral hat with a long purple dress on and heels to match. Her face is done up. She has these delicate little gloves on, and beneath one arm she was carrying this highfalutin grimoire of sorts, this leather-bound book, also in an assortment of shades of pink and purple. She seemed to look and play the part of someone probably with some type of noble lineage, perhaps. Clearly she spent her interim time preparing herself physically, her physical aesthetic, before she arrived. And she is currently sitting in B1 next to Ste'yn, but not facing Ste'yn. Ste'yn can now see her back. This young wizard, perhaps, as you might note from her grimoire. We're going to put her here. And someone had kind of scooted into a seat beside hers. We'll put her up in A1. This dark complexion, gnomish female, and very, very simple garb. Her feet barely even touch the floor, even as she's kind of pinned to the chair now in these vines. And she has this kind of little satchel that was like kind of off center on her back now, as the vines kind of abruptly wrapped around her, as she's kind of wiggling against the force of the vines. So we'll put her up there. You also see a male Goliath, kind of pasty looking skin. He is only wearing these kind of loose traveling trousers. Otherwise, he's not wearing a shirt, and you can see a very muscular build. He's got these 3 tattoos on him. He plopped himself down in C2. In C1, you see another male. This one is human. He's kind of mostly hidden. His kind of frame is mostly hidden underneath this very bland looking traveling cloak. Very simple clothing on him. He is in C1. And then the last one in your party is over in C3. This halfling female in this very unpolished, unassuming armor with kind of a tan complexion and black hair.
And we're lumped in with all these bland people? Jeez.
Yeah, you're
No
lumped in
wonder
with these
Viola
bland-
was so offended by being called a novice.
And one pink and purple wizard.
One pink and purple wizard, correct.
We shouldn't underestimate.
We are going to have you roll an initiative, but
Okay.
not your typical initiative. What I'm going to have you do is roll for me. This is, instead of it being dexterity based, it's going to be wisdom based.
Why are you doing this to me?
I like this.
I'm a rogue.
Yeah.
I have 0 wisdom.
Sounds like a you problem.
I got a nat 1.
So you'll be
It's
going
going
last.
so
It's fine.
well.
Somebody has to go last. It's all right.
But that guard might walk out. Remember the tactic.
So just
Ste'yn got a
Okay.
dirty
straight
20.
wisdom check.
Dirty
That's what she
20. So I got Ste'yn's, I got Beau's, I got Viola's. What was Snow's?
12.
12. All you're told to do is you are told to begin, and you feel these vines. They are wrapped tight. They are squeezing onto your arms. They're not like, they're not like pinching, but you are all considered restrained at this point. That means you have no movement. If you want to break the restraint, you will need to do a strength check just to physically try and break out of your restraint. And that's just rule based, technically speaking, how one might do that. But what you actually want to do is entirely up to you. So Ste'yn, you are first. Just mechanically speaking, what do you do as you are wrapped in these vines?
Ste'yn just sits and lets them wrap around her. She understands this is a test, an assignment. And she's going to cast guidance on herself.
Okay.
Way to share the guidance, Ste'yn.
Not that you reach anybody else at this moment.
Oh, is it touch? I thought it had range. Oh,
No.
never mind. That makes sense.
Never mind.
She's over there. I'm withholding.
This is for me.
Plus, don't you remember your airplane flight instructions? You always help yourself before you help others.
It said,
True.
I thought it was women and
True.
children first.
No.
Or is that boats?
Women and
Is
children
that
are
boats?
dead.
I think that's sinking
Exactly.
ships, actually.
You're thinking about the
Like, it's
Titanic.
money.
Yeah. I won't go down with this ship.
I'll go down with this ship.
That's what I was thinking of.
I won't put my hands up and surrender. Anyway, Ste'yn. So you're casting guidance.
Mhm.
And remind me what that does. Is that an extra
D4.
die for your
I
next
can add a
action?
D4 to an ability check of my choice.
I think it lasts for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Ste'yn, so ahead of you, because your chair is facing that direction, you are staring at the back of this Goliath. And you can see his muscles start to strain as he begins to immediately fight back against these vines. He starts to just contract his muscles and just starts flexing his shoulders outward. And as you see him start to push back against these vines, you kind of start to see the vines kind of they're sort of not splintering like wood, but you see them straining as they are holding on and almost seem to be like pulling, almost creating like a veiny like look as the threads of the actual flora are being pulled taut. And then you see his shoulders come back in.
If the Goliath can't breed strength, this Beau's screwed.
Anyone can roll low.
As displayed by my 1.
All right. The other two don't seem to be. You see the halfling kind of doing something similar, but she doesn't seem to be. She doesn't have the same physical prowess as this Goliath does. But you see something kind of similar happening with her. She is kind of to your left, forward and to your left. The other human, male, on the other side of the Goliath, you don't see him move. You see him sitting relatively still. It's about all you can get from just glancing. Who got our 12? Is that Snow?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No. What are you doing? It is your turn. Unless there was something else you wanted to do. I'm sorry. I realized I jumped straight to our NPCs. Was your turn complete, Ste'yn?
See.
Okay, cool. All right, Snow,
Alrighty. So as soon as the vines wrap around us, nothing else happens. They're just there, right?
I suppose so.
Like
They aren't
Snow-
growing
Snow's gonna-
thorns.
Snow is going to wait just like a couple moments and see if like, are they like getting tighter? Do they just stop? Do they grow thorns? Like, is this just it?
Am I poisoned?
Assessing the situation.
Sure. In a 5-second round, you can spend 2 seconds or 3 seconds assessing the situation. And no, they don't seem to be changing. They just seem to have their initial hold on you.
Cool. In that case, what Snow is going to do first is, because he always has his staff in hand and would still have it in hand even if he is restrained to the chair, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to test the vines to see like if they react like normal vines, and he's going to do that by causing flowers to grow out of them. I'm going to spend a charge on my staff.
Is this just to affect the vines as far as like aesthetically, or do the flowers do something?
No, there's flowers, but it's for him to see if they react like normal vines.
Okay. So
He is going to try to grow daisies out of them.
sure. And is this, and I'm just going with you guys because I don't have access to your character sheets at the moment.
Right.
So this is a spell you're casting, or it's charged from your wand specifically?
It's a charge from my staff. As an action, I can cause a flower to grow either from the staff, or I can cause it to grow from a patch of earth or whatever. So I am targeting the vines to see if I can cause flower to grow out of them, or if there's something else at work there.
Okay. Do they only grow from like, if it were physically possible, like because it is an earthen vine, like it only grows if it were like a real like physical vine?
Correct. If it was like an illusion or something like that, it wouldn't work.
Okay. Let's say it does not grow.
Good to know. That means it's not permanent. And Snow, by the way, I should be doing this in his voice because he is monologuing all of this out loud to himself. He's just like, all right, well, this is interesting. I think let's see if this works. All right, it's not working. So that means therefore the vines are not permanent. They're not real vines. So my guess would be some sort of concentration spell. Can I make an Arcana check to see if I can deduce anything else of this, or is that my turn?
I would say that would be your full turn.
All right.
Next turn you can do that though.
Thanks for the notes, Snow.
No problem. I forgot you were there for a moment. Forgot people could hear me.
God, I was with people.
He's focused.
All right. That's a very full 5 seconds. Viola.
I think first we're just gonna try to bust out of them.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So anyway, I started blasting.
A lot like that.
I would like to cast Fireball.
Who are the people in the room? I didn't ask if anyone was there. I
Did
said
I
cast
stutter?
Fireball. Did I stutter? Okay. So you're making an attack against the vines with like a just a strength attack, or using a weapon?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I can reach any of my weapons, I'm assuming, if my arms are pinned down. So I was just gonna try to like strong arm, just like bust out of it like I was busting out of a t-shirt or something.
Cool. Give me a strength check.
Okay.
As Viola usually does.
Yeah.
As
That's actually-
Viola will do.
Rolled an 18, so 21.
Gosh.
That will. Okay. You have hit the unmoving vines at AC. Roll your damage.
4.
I will even. You rolled, what was that? A 21 total?
Yeah.
For just how strong that attack was against this unmoving vine, I will even let you crit the damage if you'd like.
Oh, so do I just double it?
Yes, you would double the damage.
So 8 damage.
Okay. What is your total HP?
Current or max?
I'll say you guys had time for healing, but if you took any damage beforehand, I don't know why you would have. I don't think. But you should be
Yeah,
at max HP.
Okay, 25.
25? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. You start to strain against this vine, and you note that honestly, it's holding you pretty tight, but you're very strong, and you just push past it. It starts to give way, and then you immediately feel it just clench back, like snapping back like a rubber band, and it grabs you tighter than it even started. You're going to take 14 non-lethal damage as this
Oh.
springs back and grabs you and just pinches you into place. You even feel just through anywhere that like your armor is not protecting. You even feel what feels like pinches of like spikes or something like that. And you do note these little thorns that have appeared on your vine.
Okay, don't try to strain against it because it just hurts you more.
Thank you
to
for the
know.
note.
Yeah, I think it's magic, actually.
I think they might be trying to kill us.
Really, vines that appear out of nowhere might be magic.
Oh,
I know,
man.
it seemed
Thank you for
crazy
your
idea,
input,
right?
Ste'yn.
Good grief.
Forever
Do
on
I have
point.
time to do a nature check or anything like that?
I will allow that. If all you did was just start pushing, I will allow that.
Can I do
You want a
insight?
nature check? Insight on
I don't know.
whom?
I don't know. On the vines. Perception, I don't know. Nature, perception, I don't know.
You could do Arcana.
I just want to look at the
I will
vines and be like, do I know anything about these vines?
I will let you do either a perception, an arcana, or a nature check. And you'll get information based on which one you pick.
Okay, perception is the highest. So I'm going to go with perception.
Give me a perception
19.
check. Wow. Okay. So you look down at the vines and you see where before they started off as just these very simple, just long, green, whipping kind of vines that were wrapped around you. They start to look a darker green. They feel like they've hardened a little bit. And you definitely see these small, little, jagged thorns sticking out from your vines that were not there before. They definitely were not there to begin with. And the whole thing just looks, even if you are not particularly well versed in magic, something definitely changed when you took the action that you took. It's definitely not some kind of typical vine that you've ever seen. This definitely seems to be some kind of like, it seems like it was made for this, perhaps.
I have no clue.
And I did note non-lethal damage.
Okay, what does that mean for me?
That means if for some reason this vine should cause you to reach 0 hit points, it is not, I'm not going to ask you to make a death saving throw.
Okay, sweet.
You will just
Perfect.
incapacitate it.
Perfect.
They
Okay.
are actually trying to kill us.
It's more,
Yeah.
it's
We'll
more,
pass out, but
you
that's
note,
it.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
don't know how much of this you're sharing with them. You note that it makes you feel like, I don't mean it's like a magical tired, but it's like the strain of having pushed against it is what's dropping your stamina, so to speak, not that you're taking damage.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm going to say you can't really see, Ste'yn might be able to see, at the very least to her right, where that very pink and purple young lady is. You also see her, you kind of hear this small little like, ugh, but you don't see her move terribly much either. And you can't see the other girl. Beau, you can sort of see the other girl, the dark complexion girl.
I thought I would be
the
able to
gnome.
see the wizard, because isn't she right next to Ste'yn? Because she would, if I turned my head, I would see her in my eyes.
You are very restrained.
Oh.
You're not going to be. I don't think you're going to be able to look behind you. You can see to the side, but I don't think you're going to be able to see well behind you.
So I couldn't have seen her before the vines showed up? Like.
Oh no, you know she's there.
Okay.
I mean,
okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Cool. That's what I was wondering.
You can see the girl to your left, though, in A1. You can sort of see her even being restrained. And you see her kind of like wiggling a bit. That's about all you can make out. That you see her wiggling.
Okay.
Beau, it is your turn.
So there's two things that I kind of want to do. One, I want to try and talk to Miss Purple, Miss Jessie.
Okay.
A witch? Is that what you are? A wizard, witch, brightly colored lady over there? Can you hear me?
You can't see her reaction. Ste'yn, you kind of see this, like, she gets kind of stiff, and her head just kind of slowly turns in the direction of Beau, but she also can't turn her head all the way. And she says, "Are you addressing me?"
Well, I can't really see you at the moment. I don't know what you sound like, but if you're the person, all the colors, then yeah. But can you make out anything with these vines? They seem like they might be up your alley.
You hear this sigh. If you're smart, you'll know what to do.
Bless your heart. So already right now I know that trying to get out doesn't do much good. You said I can see the guard that did it, right?
Yes. He's standing beside Nora. Actually, almost right in front of you.
I am going to do an impulsive thing. I'm going to use my steady aim, which would give me advantage ordinarily, as long as I don't move and it's not like I'm going anywhere. So I'm going to use that, so that way it cancels out, because if I recall, restrained also gives you disadvantage to attacks or something.
It does.
Okay, so I'm going to use that to cancel out the disadvantage. And then I'm going to summon one of my blades. I'm going to throw it at that guard. Let's see here. That's a dirty 20.
Yeah.
This is going to be non-lethal psychic damage.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think you get to choose that.
Well, I'm just throwing out there that my intentions is non-lethal. So maybe I'm aiming. So maybe I'm aiming for like a leg or something.
Allow that. I feel like if you had the disadvantage, that'd be harder because you already are sucking at this. So like to hopefully not hit his heart.
So that's 7.
Like maybe.
That's 7 damage. As psychic okay, well I guess if it's psychic damage, it doesn't matter where I aim because it's going straight to his head.
Exactly.
I didn't think about that. So his head just gets hammered with 7 psychic damage. Does he have to make a concentration check? I think.
Let's find out.
I might save the room.
So, what I will say is you throw, this is your psychic dagger?
Yeah.
Okay. So you managed to summon and toss this dagger in the direction of the guard.
Can I try and do it sneaky? Can I do sleight of hand to see if they see where, because it leaves no trace of damage. So can I do it a sleight of hand roll and see if I did it without them noticing?
Sure, but that one doesn't get your steady aim, does it?
No, so I roll at
Or
a disadvantage?
Considering it's a physical, well, you're trying to aim physically aim stealthily with a weapon that doesn't cause physical damage.
With a disadvantage, I got a dirty 20. Plus 7.
That's the highest sleight of hand you've ever rolled.
I know.
Why now when
And
you're
it's not
attacking
even
people
the
that
first
are
line
on our
advantage.
side?
Listen, they have us in mind. Are they on our side? This is all a conspiracy.
It could be. It could be conspiracy. Okay. Okay.
So how is this? Does he have to make a check, or did I just hurt him with nothing?
So you throw this dagger. What did you roll a 20 to hit as well?
I got a dirty 20 to hit, 7 damage, dirty 20 to conceal that I attacked him.
That's insane. Okay. Sure. So you threw this dagger. It does strike him. And as you're watching him, the hand he had used to snap, he also was kind of holding, it's kind of elevated in front of him. And you see him kind of then use it to grab his head. And you know what that means full well, as you see his face kind of contort for a moment, like as if it were physical pain. And then you see him, let's see.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
But you
He
didn't
will
make-
be wrong.
I guess in a way it worked out that I went last because I got to hear about all of you guys' attempts.
The hope there was that the wise would go first and teach you. I mean, what? So you see him kind of strain for a moment, and then he pulls his hand back with this concerned look on his face, and you see him kind of ball his fist and like, concentrating on his hand. But your vines do feel like they have loosened.
Can I try and wiggle?
Snow, you feel something similar, and no, just you two.
Can I also just whisper? Hey, Snow, what about you got any of that inspiration on hand?
I do.
Maybe that could
You give me
work.
like 6 seconds.
All
I
right.
will be sure to give you some.
All right, I'll tap out, and you go ahead and you do what you gotta do. I do think this is the smoothest thing that Beau has accomplished so far.
As far as sleight of
Easily.
hand.
Oh, I guess
It might be
actually,
the
I guess.
only thing.
Well, no, I guess he did really good at killing those things. See, he just needs to be able to attack things. That's his deal.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about the frog people.
Yeah, he slayed those frog people.
We need to give him
He's
more
not
things
good
to
at
hit,
thievery.
but he can touch ladies' legs.
And gnome legs, technically. I can say.
That's what you need to try on Nora to try and get your way out of here.
Oh yeah,
Hey, who's the one with the seduction roll again?
that was. I think that was Snow's 11th stage.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We're only on 3. We got a ways to go before we get there.
So that takes us back to the top of the, so to speak, order. Ste'yn, before you take your action, you feel your vines also, they feel different. They don't seem to be just jarring the way that they first wrapped around you. They feel a little different.
Sorry, I had a plan, and then what I learned has changed that plan. So we are looking.
Improvise, adapt,
Improvise.
overcome.
That's just the way life goes.
You could join my plan. Together we could rock this.
But see, I don't know what you did.
Oh, that's right.
That's why she can't see you.
It's probably for the best, to be honest.
If it's not to let Ste'yn how Ste'yn might have been able to turn around and see.
Why would you though?
Well, I'm directly.
I
We're
know,
back to
exactly.
back.
The vines are turning backwards is going to be very difficult. Side to side, you can see peripheral, but backwards is going to be difficult. It's a little bit easier now that you feel the vines feeling a little differently, but you're still not getting a full turn.
Cool. We will try casting light. Ste'yn casts light on the vines themselves.
So what does light do for us?
So you're casting light on the vines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't have the exact wording of the spell. However, I do believe that it casts some distance of light. Further would be dim light, and the thing is okay against like magical darkness or something. Or okay. The vines begin to glow very bright. You look as though you are now wrapped, rather than in vines, you are wrapped in these threads of divine, these divine threads just knitting themselves around you instead. Yeah, you look lovely.
As always.
Very cool.
You look super cool. It does get the attention of the people. Basically, everyone in the room is getting like kind of the filtering of this light on them. It's very hard to miss, but they can't really turn to look at you because you're in the center of the room. But they know you did something, and like something strange. What is happening? And the room is very bright now.
There's just shadows cast everywhere, and we're all just like, what's going on back there?
What? Would you like to do anything else?
I think that is all I will do. Yeah.
Okay. As you finish casting and you watch these vines glowing around you, and you just kind of you sit with them and observe, you do hear behind you, you hear the door open. Beau and Snow, you
Hello.
guys see someone entering the room. It is a dwarven man. He is in kind of weather-beaten armor, has a thick red beard, hair is pulled back, some of it braided, and he has this kind of strap going across that has a number of little medals on it of various shapes, most of them a gold or a kind of titanium, some kind of like polished metal. And he walks in, he doesn't say anything. His eyes just kind of glance around. Beau and Snow, please give me a perception check.
Perception.
Snow, I'll give you advantage.
Thank you. That was a nat 1.
I got an 11.
You're
12.
You did one better than me with advantage?
You don't get advantage. 12 and 11? Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the 12. That makes a lot more sense. One better than me. Okay. You both note that when as soon as he enters the room, he doesn't say anything. Like I said, he just kind of is witnessing, but Nora's attention is immediately on him. She sees him, she's watching him, watching you guys. At one point, he does turn to her, to which she nods and looks back at you all, just observing you all instead. Goes back to observing you all. Also, this you two can't see, but Ste'yn can see. The Goliath strains his muscles again. Clearly, he's doing his own thing, and you hear this kind of small, like grunt, like this low roar build up to this low outburst as he just flexes his muscles, and the vines. You hear this snapping sound as the vines around him break. And you can see little patches of blood on his arms as these darker, hardened-looking vines fall to the ground. You also see those thorns, or some thorns. You didn't necessarily see Viola's, but you do see these thorns, so they look different than your vines. He stands up, and he just kind of gives this grunting laugh as he crosses the room past you all, ignoring that there's little droplets of blood that's kind of falling around him. He looks over at Nora, who gestures for him to come to her. haughtily, he kind of moseys over, crosses his arms. There's a very quiet exchange, and all you see is just her shaking her head. There's a small exchange, quiet. You just hear him say, "What?" Nora doesn't say anything else. And then you watch him storm out of the room. He just shoves the door, practically breaking it as he storms out of the room.
Yeah, so Viola, you probably don't wanna just jump out of here, it seems.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't sound like it was a very fun interaction. I don't want to go through that.
And you also hear this giggling coming from the very pink and purple girl.
Okay.
Okay. I think that moves us down to Snow.
Right. So the first thing that I would like to do is I'm going to look over at Beau, and I'm gonna say, "You got this," and I'm gonna move my. It's gonna be really awkward to do, but I have a pan flute that's hanging around my neck, so I'm just doing that and blowing into it, try to play him a little tune as well, and I'm gonna give him bardic inspiration.
Okay.
That's a D6 for you, Beau.
Oh, nice. And I can use that on attack rolls, right?
Yes, attack rolls, ability checks,
Cool.
saving throws. And then for myself, I am going to cast Identify on the vines.
You have Identify. Okay. You discern that these
It does take a minute to cast.
Oh.
It's not an
So
action.
is that gonna be... Okay.
Yes.
That's
I will be
a
doing
number.
this for a while.
Okay. Oh, never.
This is Snow signing off.
Yeah. Ground controlled Major Snow.
He doesn't mind if
okay.
he's the last one.
That's fair. That's legit.
I thought
Okay,
about
so you're-
ritually casting it, which would take 10 minutes. And then I was like, no, I'm just gonna cast it.
I was about to say, like, do you want if you ritual cast it, doesn't that go faster? And I was like, no, Brenna.
No.
It just doesn't count against him.
Okay.
Well, that'll
All
be
right.
my action for the next 9 rounds after this.
Excellent. I think that brings us to Viola.
Okay, so clearly strong arming my way out of this isn't going to work, and it doesn't like when you strain against it. So I'm going to think some reverse psychology here, and maybe if I just sit really still, the vines will just go away. Because I don't have any magic. All I have is strong right now. So I'm just going to try sitting really still.
Okay. While you're sitting really still, what is Viola thinking about?
I feel like her mind's just racing to all the different things she could possibly think of, and her mind just keeps going to that this seems like it's magic and she doesn't know any magic, so she just is completely lost. And so instead of doing what she's trained to do, she's just going to do the opposite and sit back and kind of rely on others, and hopefully someone will figure something out that will help her out.
Okay.
Hopefully everybody else is more team players than the Goliath guy.
Okay. So you begin to stop straining and you sit. You sit there in your timeout chair and you think for a while.
Think about what you've done.
You sit there and you think about what you did.
And so the vines just stay the exact same, nothing changes?
At the moment, nothing has changed. You do see beside you the halfling. Just out of the corner of your eye, you can see the back of the halfling. She also seems to have stopped moving. And you can sort of see her. Well, no, your vines are pretty tight. You can just kind of see her. She also is not struggling. She was kind of like moving a little bit. She also seems to have stopped moving. You do hear her actually kind of call back to you. And she says, "Do you have a new plan then, huh? I don't know your name. With the nice armor?"
My name's Viola. What's your name?
Lear. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I was trying to just kind of strain my way out of here, and my vines have gotten tighter and grown some thorns, and so I don't really have another plan at the moment, so I figured I'd just do the opposite of what I've been doing, because clearly what I was doing wasn't working.
Clearly. I guess that's not the way out. I think Urgin learned that. And she's, you can't see, but she may or may not be trying to nod her head in the direction of the Goliath. And then I'm sorry.
I just laughed.
Oh, okay. And you also kind of, you hear this giggling again back from Pink and Purple Girl. As Ste'yn, you can see, you have a lot of vision. You can see as her vines are not the type hardened vines either. You watch them kind of also glow a little and then fall away from her. They drop to the ground. And she also proceeds to stand up. She kind of tosses her hair over her shoulder. She fixes her purple gown. And she also walks up to Nora, looking very pleased with herself. Beau and Snow, you can now see her, looking very pleased with herself. And you hear her say, "That was simple. Maybe try something a little more challenging next time." To which Nora looks back at the dwarven man who entered for just a moment and then looks back at the girl. And you just see her shake her head. There's another quiet exchange.
Can I try and eavesdrop on that one?
Sure. Give me a perception check.
17.
Okay. You hear Nora simply saying, "Intellect will get you far. But this was not the case. Better luck next time." To which the girl also, her face doesn't change except to kind of tighten a little bit in her smile. And then she turns like about face and struts from the room as if that exchange never happened. She just struts out of the room.
As she's about to leave, Beau's gonna say again, "Oh, bless your heart."
She turns, she stops, about face again, glares at you, throws her hair over her shoulder again.
If he could, he would have done like finger guns at her, but but he's restrained, so he didn't. He just did little ones.
And he storms out of the room. Okay. That puts us back to Beau.
All right. Well, he seemed to have good positive results the last time I tried this. So he's going to do the same thing. He's going to do the thing to cancel out his attack. To cancel out the disadvantage on his attack. On our next tale. But could I also do stealth at the same time?
No.
Ste'yn will sort of sit back against her chair as she can, sort of relaxing into it.
So I have to play music while I do this.
Well, that's something I didn't realize.
Is it panning out well for you?
Whoever heard of non-stop pan fleas?
I don't want to strain against them though.
You're welcome to just wiggle for fun. I do have some bacon grease.
A bonding experience.
Who are you?
He's not really asking for permission or anything.
All right, I'm gonna try something.
You want
Let's
to
see.
try it with Viola?
Your hair looks fantastic.
I'm too scared to move.
I'm gonna go up to Nora.